I'm on my own, broken alone.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Don't mind the scarf, I'm absolutely freezing. Yeah, so I'm absolutely freezing. Today I'm going to be doing my labour and delivery story with Charlie. I remember this very well. It was only 17 months ago, but it's even worse the second time. So yeah, let's get into the video. So it all started on the Monday. I was 37 weeks. Yeah, I was 37 weeks and a few days, I think, maybe one day. And I started getting really bad contractions, and I was trying everything at this point to get everything moving, because you'll know what I mean, but like everyone's like, don't, they'll come when they're ready. But when you get to this stage, you get fed up. Like 37 weeks of carrying a baby. But yeah, so I tried everything. I tried pineapple, curries, hot stuff, and then we tried something else, you know, thing that includes crisps. We tried that, and I woke up with awful contractions, so I was just walking around, and then went to hospital, and she says that I was 3 centimetres dilated, so close to being admitted to hospital, but not that close. So she sent us home, and then, oh no, she checked and she did the sweep, and which a sweep is just where they sweep the membranes, so just get the 2 fingers and then just sweep the membranes. And oh, this bit gets me every time. I'm not joking, I actually think this traumatised me, because with Freddie, which I'll do his labour story, because his is really quick. I'll do his next time. They pulled my, it takes me a while to say it because I'm very squeamish. They pulled my cervix forward to try and obviously get everything going. And yeah, it didn't work, but I kept having contractions for the next few days, and Thursday I just got back out of hospital for contractions, and I thought, right, enough is enough. So I went on a really long walk. I think I went on a 2-hour walk, and then I came back, swept all the floors, and then like hand cleaned them. And the following morning at 8 AM, I think it was, maybe even earlier, my waters broke, so I woke up and like obviously everything was wet, and you know when your waters break because they just don't stop. And I thought, oh my god, this is it, it's gonna come, my contraction's gonna start really soon, because that's what happened with Freddie. No it didn't. I went to I woke Chris up, and I was like high-fiving him because we were so happy. It was finally happening. It was finally happening, so I was really excited, and we went to the hospital. Then, hi, what you got?
Please.
Ooh.
Hi. Hi, Mog.
I'm just telling about Charlie's birth story, how he was born. Do you want to sit with me whilst I tell it? Or not?
I want to tell something.
Go on then.
I got something word. I got you something word.
Go on then. They went to the hospital.
Look at my head.
No, not that time. Do you know when Charlie was born? When he was a really tiny baby?
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling about.
I want paint.
What is this?
Yeah. No.
You want it?
No. It's for Rod.
Do you want me to save it then?
Yeah, forward.
Well, are you going to sit up there while I tell them about Charlie's birth?
You just bring it around.
I'm telling it here. Okay? And then I will.
And you just clean it.
Okay. I'm not cleaning.
Oh, what are you doing?
I'm just telling about Charlie's birth.
Oh.
Anyways, so I then went to hospital and they checked my pad that you have to put on and said my waters are definitely gone, but my contractions haven't started and my cervix is not. It went down, it went back, it closed back up to 2. So, do we do it for you? Have you done it? So we went back home and they says, come back in the morning, 9 o'clock and we'll induce you. And I didn't want to be induced because it was just horrible. I've heard horror stories about it. That is even worse than natural labour, like naturally going into labour. Can you think about the forcing your body to go into labour? It's just so unnatural, but yeah, that's what they have to do to get the baby out. So,
I heard something. I just want to sit down on a beneath her
okay.
and just do something and just play games.
Okay.
Sit. I got on the beneath her rug.
Are you sitting down? Dave. Chris's mum stayed the night and then we went at 9 o'clock. We sat, well, I was up from 5. We had to wait until 1 and we was getting seen. I had a scan to see if he was head down and I was checked to see if my cervix was favourable. So then we waited until 1 to get a bed to be induced, and yeah, so I went up and I had to get in my pyjamas. So that I'll insert pictures, but yeah, was in a room and my midwife for the day came in, but she was nearly over on the shift and she wanted me to get the baby out before she left, but I couldn't because it was quite fast. She was leaving like 3 hours, definitely couldn't. But then she said we need to crank the Pitocin, is that what it's called, up to a 5, and oh my god, I was on that gas and air. I don't think that was it actually. I was on the gas and air and Chris really nicely took a phone call from his friend while I was in pain. Yeah, so then my midwife left and we got another midwife, and later, earlier on in the day, Chris was saying, wouldn't it be funny if we got the midwife who we had when she checked my cervix and pulled it forward and everything. And funny enough, the midwife came through and it was the woman, and I have never been relieved in my life because I felt really comfortable with her. Relieved in my life because I just felt so comfortable with her, and yeah, I could like feel like I would want her to deliver my baby. And she said to me, she said, I chose you because they must be able to like choose who they want. She chose us because she could see I had anxiety and she wanted a familiar face to be with me, so I thought that was so nice. Then she she cranked it up a bit more, I think, or was it, this was when she cranked it up to 5, I think. So yeah, I was just puffing on gas and air, and I did loads of like different positions. So I was on all 4s, I was on like my side, and yeah, that really did some damage because I can't get into my head that you have to push in your bottom I was pushing through my stomach, so I really hurt my stomach and my back from trying to push while I was on the, because I was holding on, so I was like that, and then hurting my back, and the side, I like arched my back like this, so I really hurt myself. And then all I could think about was when Chris had his arm around my head, and that's when the pain didn't hurt as much, so I just wanted him to do that. Everything I put in my hospital bag I did use, so that's in my previous videos. I think I've bit one and mine. Yeah, so she checked me and I was at a 7. No, I was at a 4 or a 5. And she was like, I'm gonna be in there while you're having a contraction. And when I was having a contraction, it was opening up into 8. And she was like, you have another bag of water. So what Charlie had done, he had like his head was on the waters like this, and what he'd done is formed another bag with his head, and they couldn't really get up there to get it, so they had to get like the other thing I can describe is a crocheting hook. So they had to get a crocheting hook and pop my waters, and thank God, like half an hour later, I was at a 10 and ready to push. So, see, that's why I was on different positions as well, because I was needing to push, and they couldn't realise why I was needing to push, so that's why they went up there. So it was really ready time to push. Ready to push. I was ready to push, that's what I mean. So it took about 3 pushes, I think, and then his head popped out, and I felt his head, but with Freddie I looked in a mirror, and yeah, it's just a bizarre feeling. The head is probably the worst bit to get out, and Chris was like, his head's there, and then I pushed his body out and he was placed onto my chest, and yeah, it was a bizarre feeling. But after, I was like, I couldn't really talk. I was really shooken up, because to me it just wasn't the same as Freddie's labour, so it was a bit dramatic. Well, it was very dramatic. Yeah, so I got placed on my chest, and then I had to deliver the placenta, and placed my boob, and he started feeding, but then he wouldn't stop feeding. He fed most at night, but he had a really weird latch. His latch wasn't as good as I've seen on pictures, so yeah, the midwives didn't really help me. Then we got took down to another room, and he fed all night there, and yeah, the recovery was really hard, because I'd really hurt all my stomach, and all my back was hurting so bad. I just felt like I'd been in a car crash, to be quite honest. The contractions wasn't as bad as people said. Like, induction isn't as bad as people tell you. So my advice to everyone who's about to have a baby, don't listen to anyone. Like, just don't ask, because going in without knowing is a lot better than going and having this expectation and being terrified, because it's mind over matter really. If you don't know what you're going into, then it's 100% better, which was the same with Freddie. I didn't know anything, but with Charlie I read all these stories. I was meant to have a home birth, by the way. I didn't put this in the story, I can't remember. I was meant to have a home birth, but I had group B strep, and I was like, I'm on the line of having cholestasis again, so they just think it was safer to not have a home birth. So yeah, and I'll insert some pictures during and at the end But yeah, we're 17 months down the line. He's still breastfeeding. He doesn't sleep. He feeds all night. So yeah, nothing has really changed since he was born. I should have known, really. But yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting